テレ東ビズ。
アメリカでは新型コロナワクチンの接種を完了した人の割合が 45.4% に達し、経済活動の再開も進んでいます。果たしてコロナは根絶できるのでしょうか。人類が唯一根絶した感染症は天然痘です。1980年 WHO 世界保健機関の天然痘の根絶宣言に貢献した疫学者ラリー・ブリリアント氏に聞きました。
More than 12 animals also have COVID, including apes and monkeys and dogs and cats, as well as bats that we know, and particularly minks. Minks in Denmark got COVID from human beings, and it spread so quickly through the mink population. That's very worrisome to an epidemiologist, that a human can give a virus to an animal, and that animal can then give a variant of that disease to other humans. And as long as there are viruses in animals, you can't reach herd immunity because it keeps on coming back. We've had tens of thousands of variants, but only a few have become variants that WHO calls variants of concern. And those variants are the ones who are more transmissible or defeat our vaccines or defeat our other countermeasures, or create more illness. Those variants are getting more dangerous, I'm afraid. But these new variants are more transmissible, and now we would need to reach herd immunity by vaccinating 80% of the entire world. We're not prepared to be able to do that. So we can't reach herd immunity, nor can we eradicate COVID. So I'm afraid that COVID-19 is going to be here for generations. I don't see a way that we will be able to end it. It will continue to bounce from country to country, to ping pong back and forth. What I'm worried about is a COVID-21 or a COVID-24, a new variant.
ブリリアント氏が特に懸念しているのは途上国の現状です。
You see two different images side by side. In my mind, I have a split screen. I am looking at, on the one hand, of the people in New York City and California who are tearing off their masks, going to the beach, and celebrating as if there was no disease. But the other side of the split screen are the funeral pyres, the cremation grounds in India, Bangladesh. Malaysia is on fire. Mongolia is on fire. That's not a sustainable world. So yes, I'm very concerned about premature celebration of victory, because there has been no victory in the battle against COVID. And in the case of smallpox, we had the vaccine for 200 years before we were able to have a global vaccination program. For polio, we had the vaccine for 70 years before we were able to have a global polio eradication program. We've only had this vaccine for hardly 1 year, and we're doing terrific. We're really having a wonderful campaign in some countries, but it's not fairly distributed. And in countries who did very well in the first months of the disease, like Singapore and Vietnam and Taiwan and my beloved Thailand, right now they're having a lot of problems. Mongolia, the Seychelles, Chile, these are all places that did well with shutdowns and isolation, but now are having big outbreaks. And lastly, look only at England, which had a 65% vaccination rate, and it has outbreaks, and it has to do closings in some of the cities, likewise Melbourne in Australia. It is very difficult to get to herd immunity. It is very difficult to have a global vaccination campaign. we should not underestimate that getting the vaccine is a miracle, but it's only the beginning of a vaccination.
それでは新型コロナにどう対抗すればいいのでしょうか。
It's wonderful that the Biden administration and the European Union have now offered 1 billion doses of the vaccine to the COVAX. That's a really good first step. Second step, instead of giving vaccine, let's give or help create vaccine manufacturing facilities in every country in the world. Now you're finding individual cases, individual outbreaks, and then you do very good contact tracing, and then you isolate the people who have been exposed to the disease. You test them to find out what variant they have, and then you match that variant against the vaccine, which works the best against it.
一方で副反応を恐れ接種に消極的な人もいます。ブリリアント氏は天然痘でも用いた対応策が有効だと考えています。
The anti-vax movement, vaccine hesitancy is real. But I must tell you, it was much worse during the smallpox program. Just think for a moment of India, which is a country that I love, a country that venerates cows. And cows are almost worshipped. But in order to make the vaccine against smallpox, we had to kill cows. If you do regular vaccination and offer it to everyone in a country that has an anti-vax vaccine hesitancy movement or issue, you will get more people resisting the vaccine. However, if you are vaccinating someone whose sister, brother, cousin, mother, grandmother, child just got the disease, you don't have so much resistance. So if you are vaccinating in a cluster that is already infected, where people are going to the hospital and you can see the effect of the disease, then vaccine resistance goes down dramatically by an order of magnitude sometimes. There will be resistance. But if you're vaccinating someone and they've just seen someone with Ebola or smallpox or long-haul COVID, then resistance goes down. So it is a strategy that increases vaccine acceptancy.
ブリリアント氏がもう一つ進めるのはリングワクチン接種です。感染した人、そしてその感染者に接触した人、さらに接触した人に接触した人にワクチンを接種。接種した人の輪、リングがウイルスを外に出さない緩衝地帯となり、感染の拡大を防ぐ方法です。
It worked very well in smallpox. It's how we eradicated smallpox, and it worked very well in Ebola 2 years ago in the Congo. With COVID, we have many differences, different vaccine, different virus, different century. But if we could find the asymptomatic cases of COVID, then ring vaccination will work again. And now we can find the asymptomatic cases using exposure notification systems, using sewage sampling, and that's our best chance to avoid lockdowns, to find a way to throw COVID-19 into the dustbin of history